Hi everyone and welcome back to our YouTube channel. We are as always your hosts Arne and Carlos, and we hope you have a great summer so far.
Yeah, we are definitely, probably as you watch this, enjoying a summer vacation. And therefore we thought we'd select a few episodes for you to enjoy while we are away. And this year, the big project that we did was launching our little series that we call The Sound of Knitting. And we had a lot of fun filming that and making that, creating that already back in 2021.
Yeah.
And it took 3 years to make it work. But anyway, the sound of knitting is something that is dear to our heart, music and knitting and relaxation and enjoyment. So we hope you will enjoy today's episode. And we'll be back in a bit to say goodbye.
Yeah. Hi, we're Arne and Carlos, and thank you for choosing our YouTube channel.
And thank you so much for watching our videos as well. And if you like what you see here, we would love it if you would give us a big thumbs up, like and subscribe to our channel. Also, lots of people are curious about our membership. So here's a little sneak peek of what you get as additional content if you do choose to become a member.
Hello members of the YouTube channel.
I know you're waiting for me.
I'm waiting.
Yeah, but we just had lunch and I have to clean my kitchen. I need to clean my counter.
Cool. I think Eric is
ready.
approaching.
Take a close-up on Eric now.
Good morning and welcome to Ålesund.
Yes.
Welcome to our happy place here on YouTube.
Hello. Hi everyone and welcome back to our YouTube channel. We are as always your hosts Arne and Carlos.
And today we're coming in out of our regular schedule, which is quite unusual for us. We do like posting on Sundays,
Yes.
but we have this extraordinary and pretty cool project that we are announcing today. We have secretly been working on it for 3 years, and it's a big one actually.
Yeah.
And we're really excited about it, and so we wanted to come in here and dedicate a whole episode to this.
So let's start with the formalities in case we forget it, because you have to remember to like and subscribe. So now that's said,
Yeah.
but don't leave us because we have a lot of things to tell you.
Yeah, and you don't want to miss what we're going to be talking about. So as I said, during the pandemic, we worked on a top secret project that we're going to launch very soon. And but actually, the project started a long time ago, or the idea for the project. We have to go back 10 years in time, not 3 years, but 10 years, back to 2014. And 2014 just happened to be the year where Norway celebrated 200 years of receiving its constitution.
Yeah.
So throughout 2014, there were a number of special projects going on culturally all over Norway and also internationally.
Yeah.
And the Norwegian government invited Arne and me to participate in this program of celebrations abroad. So we went to the Orkney Islands, to the St. Magnus Music Festival, where we gave a lot of lectures and things.
And workshops.
It was quite a lot of fun.
Yeah, and of course it was the St. Magnus Festival. We had to do workshops with the garden mouse from our book.
Yeah.
Magnus, the garden mouse. So that fitted really in with the program.
Yeah, and when Orkney has this music festival, the St. Magnus Festival, the whole island is pretty much fully booked. All the hotels are booked. And it's a small island, so obviously with a lot of people there, it gets pretty crowded. And we stayed in a lovely Scottish bed and breakfast. And the first morning when we came down for breakfast, we got to get to know a few of the other guests from Norway that were also staying in the bed and breakfast. They were all musicians from the TrondheimSolistene. And the Trondheim Soloists it's an ensemble of musicians. Usually for classical music, they have won many. They've been nominated to many Grammy Awards, and they have actually won a few as well. It's an incredible music ensemble from Trondheim. Very, very cool people, and we got to know a few of the people staying at the bed and breakfast. And then we went on a sightseeing tour with them, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
With the whole band.
We saw a lot of the girls were knitters, actually. So we were not the only one knitting in the bus. So that was a very good opening.
Yeah. And then when we were at the rehearsals, because we were doing our things, our lectures and all, but being guests of the Norwegian government in Orkney, we were part of the delegation that included the Trondheim soloists. So we spent a lot of time backstage hanging out with them, and yeah, a lot of the musicians, when they weren't rehearsing, they were knitting backstage. So it was quite cool.
Very fun.
And then we started talking to Catherine, who is their, she leads all the projects about that. And Catherine said that, yeah, they do a lot of traveling. They go on a lot of buses. They spend a lot of time, moving from one place to the other. And they do a lot of rehearsing as well, but they do need to focus. So knitting is a great way for them, when they're on a bus. They knit and they kind of relax their brain and maybe go through the music that they're going to perform, something like that. So,
and that's when we started to talk about, what if we do a knitting concert together? So that was the first time we started to talk about it. And after a while, we actually did concerts.
So, but it was a long process. So
very long.
2014, we realized that we also have a lot in common. In terms of the musicians, they interpret old music, and we interpret old knitting patterns and make modern patterns out of old. Composers do the same. I mean, the TrondheimSolistene, they were recording, they were playing several more modern pieces that were inspired by old Norwegian composers like Grieg and Svensson. So kind of like already there seeing that we have a lot in common and we have a lot of similarities when we work. And talking with Catherine about that, we said we really have to do something together. But it took a while, didn't it? I mean, 2014, and then we were really busy the following few years, 15, 16, and so on. And then the pandemic came. And we were stuck here.
We were stuck here, and then at the time, Trondheim was the green city for a while. And then we had the chance to go to Trondheim, and we actually did 2 knitting concerts. And
planned together with the Trondheim
soloists.
Soloists.
Together with the soloists, and we filmed it.
And it was a very long, I mean, from the time we started planning until Trondheim became green, because it was for a long time, Norway was under lockdown, as most of the world, or all the world was. So lockdown after lockdown after lockdown. But in 2020, we were talking about it, through Zoom with Catherine. And then in 2021, we started planning for it, just in case restrictions would ease off. And then, as Arne said, Trondheim became green in the sense that it was the place in Norway where the infections were not spreading. This is actually in 2021, just in the middle of people being vaccinated. So there was a period in Trondheim where people could go out, masked, of course, but people were allowed to go out.
Go to concerts.
And go to concerts. And although it was restricted, there were, you had to have, you could sit 2 people next to each other, but then you needed 3 seats or
there was some
something. I'm sure you all remember what it was like. But anyway, there was an opportunity to do a knitting concert. So Arne and I went to Trondheim, and we spent about a week, 10 days there.
10 days.
Attended rehearsals and kind of figured out how we wanted to do this knitting concert. And then we did it. And it was a lot of fun. We really did spend lots of time there doing some really cool things. And then it kind of stuck. We did the concert. We actually had it filmed, a very professional 3-camera production, which is why it's taken so long to get it ready. And then afterwards, we actually went and we did a new knitting concert in 2022.
Then we did the concert in Norheimsund on the west coast.
On the west coast.
So we took our knitting needles and the yarn, and we took the beetle, and we drove over the mountain.
I think that was the Hardanger Music Festival.
Music Festival, I think it was. And we met the musicians, and we did the 3rd concert. Which was very fun.
It was a lot of fun, So usually when we do the Sound of Knitting, when we do the concerts with the Trondheim soloists, which we're now calling the Sound of Knitting, we're on stage with them, and it is actually pretty cool. But to explain this in a better way, I think maybe, what they say, a picture says more than 1,000 words. So maybe should look at this video and maybe you'll understand a little bit more of all the fun things that we're talking about. So here we go.
Welcome to the sound of knitting.
We're in our dressing room and we are so nervous.
Join the world-renowned designers Arne and Carlos.
Let's just warm these needles up a little bit.
And the Grammy-winning TrondheimSolistene for an event where knitting and music merge into one unique experience. An experience so special that it has to be shared with the world. Now you can access the full experience of the sound of knitting. You can knit along with Arne and Carlos as TrondheimSolistene perform breathtaking, carefully curated musical masterpieces. Or you can just sit back and enjoy the magic. In addition to full access to the concert, performed at historic Ringve Music Museum in Trondheim, you get access to a masterclass on how to knit the famous selbuvott in a design made by Arne and Carlos. Get to learn the history behind the selbuvott as told by locals. The story of Ringve, a 400-year-old farm that has now been turned into a music museum. An inspiring conversation between Arne and Carlos and the artistic director for TrondheimSolistene, Geir Inge Lutzberg, about design and music. And behind-the-scenes material with Arne and Carlos and TrondheimSolistene. For a limited time only, you can now get this fantastic experience, the sound of knitting.
Yeah, so this was, I guess the cat is out of the bag now, and we can finally talk about the sound of knitting, the project that we have been working on for so long, which is kind of like, I don't know, how would you describe it? It's the place where the musicians and the knitters meet, I guess.
It is, and you can knit to the music, and you will be so relaxed.
Yeah, that's exactly what we did when we went on stage with the Trondheim soloists. It was actually pretty cool. They came on holding their instruments. We came on holding our needles. And we bowed to the audience, didn't we?
Yeah.
And then we sat down.
And that felt very strange.
Yes.
Bowing with your needles, but we did it.
And then we knit to the music for an hour. And as you all know, storytelling is a very important Scandinavian tradition.
Yep. And also,
so we have been storytelling.
So we've been telling stories in between the music. Yeah. So they play and we tell stories and we knit. And there's another thing also, when you sit and you knit to the music, the speed of your knitting changes. Sometimes when the music is quick, you knit quicker, and for slower music, slower. But you also feel that you move your needles according to the music.
Yeah.
You're almost like you're conducting the music, and it's very relaxing.
It's very relaxing. We designed a pattern for a mitten and a wrist warmer, and it's especially or specifically designed for the music that was being performed on stage that night. So it was a lot of Grieg, Svensson, some Mozart, and a couple of modern pieces which are quite amazing and out of this world. And the pattern, the way it went, is kind of like for the, some of the swirls are for the slower parts of the music, and some of the swirls were more for the faster segments, especially the Mozart Eine kleine Nachtmusik, which is kind of the 18th century party music. Then so you need to party.
The top of the mitten has the swirls and the curls, and then the inside of the mitten had more rhythm. So you get into the rhythm of the knitting.
Yeah. So it was quite cool seeing the whole audience, although it was only 1/3 of what the maximum capacity was because of the situation at the time. But it was really fun seeing the audience partake in this together with us. I was on stage with Arne, and I could hear the sounds of metal needles as the music went on. Could you?
Yeah. So if you're going to listen to the concert and knit at the same time, you should bring your metal needles.
Yeah.
It gives something extra to the music.
Yeah. So today we are here to offer you this this very special project, so that you can take part in it as well. It was originally a live concert, but we have now recorded it.
Yeah.
And in addition to the concert itself, that lasts an hour, there's a tutorial for the mitten.
Yeah, and we also went to Selbu, to the museum, so you can see the Selbu mittens, and we talked to a local lady. So we learned a lot about the Selbu mittens.
Yeah, if you want to learn about something, we always recommend to learn from the locals. The locals, that's where all the knowledge is. So why learn it from us? Who are, I mean, we're locals when it comes to Norway, but we're not locals when it comes to Trondheim or Selbu. And Selbu is only an hour away from Trondheim. We spent 10 days there rehearsing with the Trondheim soloists. So it was like, let's go to Selbu and let's talk to some locals. We set up something in the beautiful Selbu Museum.
Yeah.
And Selbu is world famous for its amazing mittens, and the story is fascinating. In addition to the concert, we are telling the story with the help of a local who shows us around as well in this remarkable museum.
Yeah, and we also went to the Ringve Museum, and that's the museum
of music
and instruments.
Which is where we performed.
That's where we performed. That sounds so strange.
Yeah.
Like you go on the stage and you knit. And it's your performance.
Knit, but together with a Grammy-nominated and Grammy Award-winning ensemble.
You put on your best clothes and you have to bow for the public, the audience. That's the word. Fun.
Yeah, a lot of fun. There's also a talk with the artistic director where we actually conclude after talking to him for 45 minutes, an hour, that we do have a lot in common when it comes to inspiration and the way we work. It's different genres, but similar ways of doing it.
It is.
And of course, we couldn't help but go backstage and talk a little bit with the musicians. So here's a little clip for you guys.
Classical concerts, maybe you are expecting people to be quiet and you always react to some noises, but this time these knitting noises were actually quite, it was quite cozy actually to like hear something going on and people were making something at the same time as they were making music on stage.
So these are the lovely musicians, some of them. And I have to say, when we started rehearsals, the first day, everybody was so shy.
Yeah, but
and
we
I
had
walked
a really
in.
Good time.
Yeah, we did. But I walked in there and I was like, oh my God! I mean, look at these people. They play. I mean, they've been nominated to Grammys. They play instruments that are 300 years old. I don't know, probably a Stradivarius or two. And here are Arne and me coming in with bamboo needles.
And you can feel the nerves.
And you can feel them very small. You feel like you are you're like a nobody. And apparently that's what they thought of us too, for some bizarre reason.
So, but it was nice, like being backstage, and you have that
energy.
You feel the nerves, kind of in the room.
And we joked around with them, and it turned out that we were actually all equals there.
And it's so different from if we go around the world and we do lectures or we do workshops. We don't have nerves for these things.
Never.
But this was kind of something. It was more. It's like it was not only us. We had to do a good job with the knitting because of all the musicians.
Well, I wasn't so nervous when it came to the audience because we are used to big audiences.
Yeah, but it was before they had that thing behind the scene before you enter the stage. Yeah. And as soon as you come on the stage, it's fine, but it's building up before you go out.
It is, yeah. But for me, the nerves actually came from meeting the musicians, not the audience, and kind of feeling that what are we doing here kind of thing. But you know, they were all lovely, and
we knew one of these girls from before because we stayed.
Well, both of them.
Yeah, we stayed in the same hotel.
Yeah, in Orkney.
In Orkney.
Yeah.
Both of them were in the same hotel. One of them had one of our sweaters, I think.
Yes.
And I don't remember which one.
I can't remember either. But anyway, very nice girls. And I was talking to some of the guys behind the scenes as well, and they were giving me tips on, you know, how to behave on stage with the musicians and all that, which I thought was fun. Of course, coming in the end to bow, and then they doing this, you know, like get up and you know, take your applause was quite fun.
But I think we put on our floral shirts or something.
We did, yeah.
And you had socks with
cherries on.
Cherries on.
Yeah.
So we didn't fit in quite as well, but
it was fun. And of course, we went home very invigorated and inspired.
Yeah.
Speaking of people who were inspired, Arne, one of the musicians really went home and started composing music for knitting.
Yeah, based on the pattern.
Yeah, and he is quite the character. You're going to love him as much as we do. So here's a little clip from that.
I'm imagining some kind of melody that... Or... Thank you, music and knitting lovers.
So I think that was cool.
Yeah, I mean, how wonderful it is to be able to inspire a world-class musician like him.
I think that's
into
the first time for us.
Yeah, into composing music inspired by knitting. It is really cool, and hopefully one day he will write a whole symphony. We'll call it the Symphony of Knitting. But as it is of now, we've got the Sound of Knitting coming. It's coming very soon, and you will be able to access it.
Yes, you are.
Yep.
So there's a link
down in the description below. Yeah, and that will take you to the website where you can check out a lot of stuff. And if you have any suggestions, make sure to put them in the comments as well, and we will try to answer them for us. Any questions, any suggestions that you may have. But now, finally, after 3 years, we can let the cat out. We've let the cat out of the bag. The Sound of Knitting is here, and it is unstoppable.
It is.
And we really look forward to sharing this with you in the near future. And when we're talking about soon, we're talking about it coming right around the corner.
So
and now,
keep your
Arne,
eyes peeled.
Yeah, keep your eyes peeled. And now we can finally let a deep breath. Do that.
And
because we do that because we finally can let the secret out, and we don't have to keep this in anymore.
No. And now we can plan new things.
Yes. 3 years in the making, 3 years
in
in the planning. The camera production is amazing. I mean, considering we worked with 3 cameras.
And actually, I saw some pictures on Instagram from the concert we did, when we did the concert in Trondheim. So there were some people who understood that we did something.
Yeah.
Secrets.
And they're probably wondering, when is this coming out?
When is it coming?
When is it coming out?
It's coming now.
It's coming soon. So keep your eyes peeled. And we want to thank you all for watching. And go to the website, check out The Sound of Knitting. And I hope that you love it just as much as we do.
So knit to the music.
Knit to the music. And we'll see you again very, very soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Sound of Mittens.
Mittens, knitting. So, this is the sound of Mitten.
Oh, he's behind the zebra. So we hope you enjoyed Sound of Knitting. We really did. We had a really good time doing this.
Yes, we enjoyed the baking.
What's happening over here? Okay, PJ is in the kitchen and making noise.
Han brukar food processor.
That behind the scene.
Why are we stopping the filming?
I don't know what
Because
PJ is doing.
is using the food processor and it's making a lot of noise. I didn't know it was that noisy.
Okay.
Okay.
So let's go back to Sound of Music.
Knitting.
Hello. Oh no.
Are you gonna sing The Hills
No,
Are Alive?
I'm gonna start. So we hope you enjoyed the Sound of Knitting. I made it right this time. I didn't say music.
You just did.
Sound of Music. The Sound of Knitting. Because we had a really good time doing this and it was great fun for us.
And we're very proud of what we produced.
We were very proud. So if you like our videos, put your thumbs up, and if you're a subscriber, put on that notification so you don't miss an episode. And you can also become a member, and you will have what do we get again?
Additional content.
Additional content, emojis,
Such as, yes.
and shenanigans, and live streams with us once a month.
And 15 minutes.
And 15 minutes with Arne and Carlos.
Yep.
Isn't that live stream?
No,
that's every week.
the catch up.
The catch up.
Anyway, you get a lot of extra content if you become a member for a reasonable amount every month. So, thanks.
And you get to hear about the trips first.
That's true.
If you want to go on a garden tour or
on a knitting cruise.
Knitting cruise.
Yeah.
So see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Moose,
Oops, moose, moose.